I just had a question on foreclosure, what type of tricks to use on the bank or the lawyer and the judges for a process that I'm into right now in New Mexico.
Tricks? What do you mean tricks?
Well, I consider it magic, but I'll call it tricks or magic, whatever you want.
Well, what do you mean? Like I said, what part? I mean, is it a non-judicial state?
We're a judicial state, so they filed a complaint against us, or the lawyers. J.P. Morgan Chase is the servicer to the mortgage, which is owned by Freddie Mac. J.P. Morgan Chase is the one that's filing the complaint against us.
Okay. You want to use, I guess, a simple trick. You just say, what debt? The mortgage is paid. What are you talking about?
Well, it's so true. Debt.
I mean, you said you wanted something simple. That's something simple.
Well, I get it.
you just say what debt? You just say what debt? The mortgage has been paid. I sent them. I paid them off a long time ago. I gave money a long time ago. It's done. And they'll say, well, this piece of paper says it's not. Well, let me see the piece of paper has some vocal cords, and let's see that piece of paper say something in court. Well, this piece of paper says otherwise. Really? And are you going to stand in court and verify that it's true, that piece of paper? And they'll say, hell no. I said, well, then who will? I said, well, hell no, I'm not going to. How much simpler can that be? That's basically what Trump was trying to say with his girlfriend. It's the same thing, basically. It's just, it's the principal going to appear for the credit card companies. Anybody from the credit card company appear. But she didn't even get to that point. She was just happy to pay $10 a month. You know what I'm saying? She was just happy to pay $10 a month, which that's what I try to tell people to do. Just give them an offer. Make them an offer. They're just grateful to get anything like that. And if they don't, it's the same thing's going to happen. It'll happen with Gus's girlfriend. The judge is just going to say, oh, that's all she could pay is $10. That's all she could pay. She's saying she's going to be home. She's going to be home. And like I said, you guys are going to run out there and you're going to think this is funny. You're all going to pay $50 a month for $1 million house because you had to have that McMansion house, because you had to have the $20,000 upgrade in the bathroom. You had to have the golden toilet bowl. You had to have that, 20-acre pond in the backyard, and you're just going to live without it. You got a quality of life that you believe that you have to have. Yeah, that you deserve, that you've worked almost so hard for. Maybe you'll work 20, 30 years in the future so hard for, maybe. And just makes me laugh. And all the banks are going to just not loan any money to the next generation. They're going to say, nope, you know what? We're going to turn this place into Cuba. And we're not going to loan anybody money. We're going to make it so incredibly hard to loan a dime once you Americans learn these tricks that we're going to turn you into a third world country. And then people are going to beg for the banks to come back. And the banks are going to say, yes, we'll come back, but only if we can own land. And only if you don't pay your debt, we could throw you in jail and put you in a debtor's prison, and you could actually work in jail, and you could work for Sony, or you could work for Nike, and you could make sneakers or underwear for us while you're sitting in jail in Seattle, Washington, or Vancouver. So like I said, yeah, it's cool to teach you guys all these tricks because that's what the corporations want me to do, teach you tricks. So that way you people totally lose your banking ability and lose your ability to have any kind of commerce or money because they're going to leave. Because America, honestly, is a little tiny country because they're taking all the industrial base out of here and they're bringing it over to India and China. And they're got another whole continent called Africa that they haven't even started with billions of people. They don't need us. We're just being left behind. They're just totally going to ignore us. The world's going to be equal. There's going to be equality. Yeah, we're going to drop down to the third world level, just like everybody else. So yeah, there's tricks. Sure, there's lots of tricks. And once everybody learns these tricks, it's going to be lots of fun. Just watching us turn into a third world country because nobody wants to be honorable and pay off their debt. Everybody's going to do these $10 a week tricks or $2 a week tricks. Lots of tricks, lots of fun. How to be dishonorable, how to trick people. Fun to start tricking the banks. And I don't think the banks did anything Wrong to begin with. I've never took a mortgage out in my life. I've never had a credit card in my life. Why? Because I know I can't handle it. I know I try a trick and get out of pain. So, like I said, I'm kind of one of those interesting kind of guys. Yeah, do I know a trick? Yeah. Show people tricks? Yeah, sure. Now it's up to you. Are you going to do the trick or not? Are you going to act responsible, or are you just going to do the trick? Or are you just going to say, you know what, I can't pay this debt. I guess I might as well just move out, go move back in with my mama or whatever it takes and come back and try it again. But I'm not going to, play no tricks. So like I said, I don't know how many times I have to say this to people. Because, Bali, you've heard me say this a million times, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like those two words, it almost sounds like a joke when some people hear it for the first time. But once you follow it through and you understand what it is, you just can't stop laughing. You think, my God, those two words, what debt?
Right. But like I said, I know this, and I know this is a big joke, and I've known this my whole life because my mom works for the IRS. My uncle's president of a bank now. He runs collections for Visa. He's the vice president over there. I know this, but I'm still not going to destroy the system that took, just to create. I'm not going to destroy it. I don't wish to destroy it. So I kind of feel bad trying to tell you people how to do these things. Like, should I really tell you people? Because you people are just going to be dishonorable, and you're just going to laugh and just, totally destroy the next generations, your children's future. You couldn't care less, as long as you get what you want now. And pay $10 on a credit card debt that's worth $4,000, $5,000. You ain't going to care. It takes 25,000 years to pay it off. You ain't going to care. And like I said, then the banks are just going to leave, just like they left Cuba. They might come back when Castro dies. They might come back. And Castro had a good belief. It's like, no, I'm not going to let my citizens pay usury fees. I'm not going to let my citizens be taken over by banks and lose their houses and lose their land and lose all their stuff. So the banks are like, okay, fine. You know what? We'll just leave and see what kind of third world country you turn into, Cuba. And Cuba found out fast. They're still driving around 53, 54 Chevys. Because they ain't got no money. So, yeah, sure, you want your kids to have donkeys pull their cars around in London? Well, go for it. I don't. That's why I said, I want to save up my money and do it the right way. If I had to get a mortgage, I'd want to make sure I put a hell of a down payment on it, that I paid 50, 60, 70% of it off before I even think about something ridiculous, like no money down. And then complain the next week when I can't pay it, and then they take it away from me. But I never put no money. I never put nothing down. And then people are going to cry and scream, saying, "Oh, look at the banks. They didn't create any money." No, they had private investors front the money, or create the banking system that we all participate in. So if you're a member of their society, you're a member of their club, you willingly joined, well, then you should do the honorable thing. If you're joined the army, you should do the honorable thing. You joined the banking system by being a mortgager, then do the honorable thing and be a mortgager or be a debtor. Do the honorable thing. What's the problem? And like I said, my mom did it for years. She just knew that she was going to fall behind in her bills, and she'd just say, look, I'll catch up with my bills in February, March. It was IRS work is seasonal. Now it might be a full-time job, but when I was a kid, it was seasonal. They only needed her really from the first of the year until about, July. And then the rest of the year, she either had to find another job or just say, you know what, we're going to have to tighten our belts and wait to get another paycheck. Oh, well. But she never not paid back every damn dime she owed. And it wasn't over 57 years. It was when she told them she would. She'd catch up to it in 6 months or a year. She'd be back on her feet and she'd be good to go. And they work with her. Because the people in the bank, they're just like you and me. They're just like, okay, what's your problem? That's your problem? Just like if your friend borrows money or your family borrows money, it's like, I wanted to pay it back, but you know what? Something happened. What happened? This happened. Okay. Okay, that happened. Okay, fine. We'll forgive you, and you come back and pay us when you can. Nobody here is going to go hungry. Okay, pay us when you can. We'll take you on your good faith that you'll do the right thing. And that's what, like I said, my mom and uncle told me since I was a kid. This is all based on faith, good faith, that everybody believes to do the right thing or the economy is going to collapse. So we're either all going to behave or we're all going to run out like billions of people did in the early 2000s and bought all these houses with no money down. And everybody's like, well, gee, you know what? Those evil bankers, it's like, what, those evil bankers made you buy a house with no money down? Did that make sense? Yeah, that makes sense to anybody, that they could buy something for nothing? That's ridiculous. The most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. No money down. Well, then there's nothing of value you put there? No. And then when they take it away from you next week, you're going to cry? Well, yeah, they shouldn't have taken it away from me. That's my house. How's it your house? You got no money down. But like I said, it was funny with my buddy Jimmy. You know, the bank tried to sell his house this week, so I went down to the auction to see and how much they wanted. And so I just laughed when the bank wanted $75,000 as an opening bid. I just laughed. I said, you people, you're lucky you get $20,000 for that house. And I said to Jimmy, well, this is crystal clear now that the bank owns his house. I said, because you can't sell something that you don't own, right? He's like, yep. I said, okay, well, now send them a bill. Send the bank a bill every month for the upkeep of their house, for keeping the lights on, keeping the security guard in there called you and your wife, keeping the lawn mowed, you know, keeping the windows clean. Send them a bill for all the maintenance work you're doing. And then see next time if the bank will do it. See, because he tried to do refinancing his mortgage. I mean, we actually tried to do the honorable thing. You know, I said, Jimmy, can you afford $300 a month? The house ain't worth that much. $300 a month is plenty. You know, just to get back on your feet. That's an honorable amount of money. So he was a little hesitant about it. He was like, well, how about $100? I said, stop. You can't live no place for $100 a month. You know it. I said, stop being silly. I said, on $300 sounds fair. To get back on your feet, just say $300 and see what they do. And they basically just blew them off, you know. So I said, fine. You know, they're supposed to work with you, Jimmy. They said, well, they didn't want to. I said, okay, they didn't want to. Now we're going to work with them in a different way. They own your house, right? Yes. They say they own it. Correct. They were trying to sell it yesterday. Correct. So you can't sell something that you don't own, can they? No. Good. So send them the bill for the upkeep. Just like if you put a horse on somebody's property, for the upkeep of the horse, they got to feed him, they got to groom, they got to shoe him. You know, you need a farrier down there. You need a veterinarian down there every now and then. Send him the bill for leaving that horse on your land. So send him a bill for leaving that house on your land. And then see if they're willing to work with you. Then see if they're willing to take $300 a month. And I bet you they'll be a lot more receptive when you say, fine, you own this place, fine, and you're going to pay for me to do the upkeep. You know, then now I'll just be your steward. Now I'll just be your maid. Now I'll just be your butler. Now I'll just be the house's, property manager. Now I'll just be the house's, electrician and plumber. But I want people to work with the banks, and I want the banks to work with the people and stop being slick. The banks are being slick by trying to say, well, sorry about that, like they took all this information. You know, he made like $50,000 last year. I mean, that's plenty of money that they should have said, well, that's enough money. You know, we'll work with him somehow. He sent him his tax returns. His tax returns show that he made $52,000. So I mean, he did the tax thing, and they should have definitely worked with him. The house would be lucky if that house is worth $50-60 grand. Lucky. It's a mobile home. It's like 20 years old. On 2 acres of land, even if the acres were $5,000 an acre, it's not worth anything. So for them to say, no, we can't work with you, what do you mean you can't work with him? It's ridiculous. Of course you work with him. Nobody who lives around here is going to spend $75,000 for that. Maybe you people live in Beverly Hills, but I'm telling you, man, where we live over here, nobody's got $75,000 cash to buy this thing. It ain't going to happen. So, like I said, we'll just work a new proposal with the bank. Now we're going to offer them. See, now we have absolute proof that you were trying to sell the house. You can only sell something which you own. Okay, so now if you own it, you're going to have to pay maintenance fees. Here's the bill. And send them a bill. And say, now you're going to either pay the bill, we're going to drag your ass in court to pay the bill, or you're going to work with us honorably work with us on a loan modification now. You're not going to play this silly, gee, they did a loan modification review, and I think they did the loan modification review in like 4 or 5 hours. They called him back and they said he didn't qualify. I said, man, that's about the quickest rejection thing I've ever heard in my life. And they're like, no, we're going on with the sale, you know, at the end of the week. I was like, okay. So like I said, I went down there to try to help bid on a house if there was a legitimate number that they were throwing out there. But when the auctioneer said $75,000, I just laughed. I said, Jimmy, you ain't going nowhere no time soon. There ain't nobody in their right mind that's ever going to pay $75,000 for that place. So he felt a lot better. And I said, good. Now the bank didn't want to work with us. They acted dishonorably. Well, I'm not saying we're going to act dishonorably, but now we're going to play a different game too. We're going to play you're the owner and I'm the slave, and you're the owner and, you know, I'm just a squatter. Fine. Well, I'll play that I'm the security guard. So that's the kind of game that I think would be pretty cool.